Today I am going to be talking about how cool some of the tools Google has, particularly around Kubernetes and their Google Cloud Console. One of the things here recently that I've done is I started investigating how to modernize some of our apps at a company I just started at a month ago, right? And part of modernizing that is taking some of their .NET applications, containerizing them, and getting them out in the cloud, right? So in order to kind of learn and kind of dive in, I do what I usually do and just sign myself up for a talk and kind of force myself to learn and kind of, do it that way. So I've done a lot of talks. I'm not a good speaker, but one of the things that I would do for anybody that's like thinking about talking or, giving up and giving a talk is think about something that you find interesting and just sign yourself up for a lightning talk and get up there and do it. It forces you to learn something new, get out of your comfort zone, which, just helps you grow yourself professionally. So with that being said, we'll go ahead and ask the demo gods to be kind to us. So we only need one tool for today's talk. I'm going to show you everything within a browser. Right, within that browser is the Google Cloud Shell. Right, so this is a virtual environment that you have access to that you can run all within the browser, right? So you get all your bash commands, you have Git access, Docker access, all the Google command line tools as well. It's preloaded for us. So why containers? That's a long question, and I don't know that I necessarily have a lot of time to talk about it, but basically it allows you to kind of separate your concerns and separate your apps away from the operating system so you don't have as many dependencies and you can scale fast. I'm sure there's better definitions out there, but it is what it is. Here are some better definitions than what I just regurgitated. We can kind of go over those later if we have time, but I'm really going to be pushing time with this demo, so I should have said that this demo in theory should probably take about an hour, and we're going to try to do it in 15 minutes, so we're going to just pray to the demo gods. So this demo, what we're going to do is we're going to verify that we have a GCP product, so a Global Cloud project. We're going to create a .NET Core app. We're going to run the app. We're going to publish the app. We're going to package the app. We're going to push that packaged Docker container to a repository. We're going to create a Kubernetes cluster. We're going to deploy. We're going to allow external traffic. We're going to scale out our service, test resiliency, and then I'll show you the graphical way of doing it after I show you the command line. Sounds like a lot of stuff, right? Let's see if we can do it. Here's kind of a visualization of what we're going to be doing, right? So over on the left-hand side, we have that shell that I was talking about that I can access from within the web browser. And then on the top right, you can kind of see there's the Google Kubernetes engine. That's what actually runs Kubernetes in the Google Cloud. And so our cluster will run within that. And within that cluster is our application. So our Docker containers will be running inside that Kubernetes cluster. Now, I know I'm saying a million different things, and there's a lot of different technologies that I'm talking about. And the point of this talk is not really to get you super familiar with Kubernetes, containers, Docker, and all that type stuff, really just to whet your appetite for what is possible, right? So with that being said, let's kind of just jump into the demo. As you will see here shortly, I'm going to cheat, and I have all my commands already ready for me to copy and paste, so try not to read ahead, I guess. So when you set up a Google Cloud Platform account, you can get a $300 credit, and I'm not showing you my screen, so let's fix that first, I guess. How do I, failure one, huh? You did see the slides though, right? Okay. Well, that 15 minutes is going by fast now. And another thing I will mention is I've been on a Mac for the last few years, and I recently switched back to a Windows machine, so you're going to have to forgive me on some things. So here we are, right? Yep, all right. There's my dashboard. So this is the Google Cloud Platform at a very high level. I have a project already set up called OKC Sharp Demo. So the really cool WYSIWYG thing that they have, and it's cool to me, right, is this command line cloud shell that you have access to. And so this gives you access to everything that you have in the Google Cloud. Now, you don't have to run this in the web. You can run it from a terminal from your local machine, but I think it's really neat to show that you could actually write code, deploy code, have it highly available all within a browser. So you could do this on a Google Chromebook, whatever. So with that being said, they also have a little editor that we can come in and see what we actually have to work with. And I actually have a cheat sheet in my environment that hopefully pulls up here pretty quick. All right. So I have my demo text. So the first thing I want to do is just make sure that I'm actually logged into this terminal, and you can see that my account is being set. To help speed things up, we're going to set an environment variable that allows me to pass my project ID to all my commands. And we want that to say OKC Sharp Demo. Make sure that that's working. Right, okay, so has everybody created a .NET Core app or played around with that before? So it's really simple now from command line, right? So first let's make sure that we have .NET installed. Can everybody see and read that, I guess I should ask? You can see that we have .NET version 2.1.502. And so it's as simple to create an app as running this command. And so you can see now in my root directory that I now have a folder containing hello OKC Sharp. So let's browse into it. And let's go ahead and verify that we can actually run this sucker, right? So this is going to run it within the virtual environment that's hosted in the Google Cloud. So right now this is just a VM, right? This is just a Linux runtime environment that I'm running the .NET application within. And then this thing does another really cool thing. Is it allows you to expose your site through this UI. So I can do a web preview. And I can actually see my application running. While that's loading, I'm going to make a change to help speed some things up. So you can see it's actually getting commands in the command line down there, doing some stuff. I'm going to make a change so we know that this is not me just lying to you. It's a lot easier with a full keyboard. So. Save. All right, so here's the normal splash page you get when you create a new MVC app. So I just to show you that I actually have something running that we just did, I'll refresh it and pray that I didn't have a syntax error. Okay, so now that's what we're working with here. So let's go ahead and stop that. Hopefully. Switch back over here so I know what I'm doing. All right, so next we're going to publish it. So when I say publish it, we're just going to create a release build of this application. And the reason we want to do that is because we're going to use that release build to create a Docker container around it. And so while that's going there, we'll go ahead and cd into bin release. Did I not? All right, we'll create a Docker file. All right, touch is the command you can use to automatically create a file. So we'll come over here, look in our directory. We should have a Docker file. We know what to put in there because I got it right here. And so the Docker file basically tells Docker everything that it needs to know in order to package your application, what to expose, et cetera. This one's very simple. It's saying start from one image that they have out there in Google with the ASP.NET Core, add my current app, expose it on the port that we're going to pass to it by command line, and then the entry point is the hello OKC sharp DLL. So we got that. We'll save, and now we'll actually package it up. So we will build it. Show you that nothing's running now. It's right now it's in my bin directory, which the bin directory has everything that it needs to run, minus the .NET framework. All right. The question was that in the root directory? And I said it was in the bin directory. Okay, so now you can see over here it says it cannot connect, right? Just to show you again. So I'm running the application again, but this time I'm running it within a Docker container, and I'm using Docker to actually run the application. So when I come over here, it's like a baby step, right? So you don't have to run Docker within Kubernetes. You can run Docker by itself, right? And you can run an application on your machine. And that's where we're at right now, right? So it's running, we verified it. Let's take a look at it, get the ID. I need my glasses. I'm getting old, everybody, by the way. Okay, so now it's stopped. So we did all that. Well, now we need to actually put it out in the cloud. So one of the things that's kind of a best practice is to version your containers. And so that's what we're going to do right here is we're going to push this out to the Google Cloud, version it, and have it available in a repository. And so while that's doing that, I'll kind of show you what I'm talking about. So out here in your console, you can go to a container registry. And you don't have to use this one, but this one's provided by Google Cloud. And you can see that we have our container here. This is one from earlier. We can go ahead and delete that one. And so you can see that you have your version containers here. So back to that. So now it's available. So next we're going to create a Kubernetes cluster. Now, hopefully I cheated, and this will just say that it's already there because this can take a couple minutes to actually complete. Okay, so it should already be there, and I'll go and verify by going to my Kubernetes engine and seeing that I actually have a cluster already here. There's nothing in it, but we'll go ahead and fix that real fast. And so to do that, I am going to tell it to take that image that we just created, that container that we just created, and deploy it to Kubernetes. And then use port 8080 as I exposed in the Docker file. So now we can go ahead and see if it's running, if it's out there on command line. Right, it's showing me that it's spinning up. Okay, let's see. So it's a lot to talk about, but so pods are a collection of containers, and right now we just have really one container, our MVC app right now, but you could package up multiple applications within a pod. And so right now I'm just saying, hey, what are all the pods that I have available? And I just have one of one, which is all neat, but I can't really get to it yet. So this is something that's really cool and something that, oh my goodness, that is really easy. That shows the ease of this stuff and how fast you can scale up, scale down type thing is I can throw a load balancer on top of my pods, on top of my cluster, simple command, right? So now my application is going to be exposed to the entire world. And so to get that, I run this command here, which get services. And you can see right down here that it's pending. So we'll give it a couple of seconds. And it seems like it's taken a while for me to get through this, but can you imagine like physically provisioning out servers and trying to do all this stuff in a matter of a few minutes? And like what this actually provides you today is I can put a load balancer in front of my application in less than a minute, hopefully. 38 seconds, 41. Oh, come on, don't fail me. All right, there we go, less than a minute right there. So now I have an external IP, and so I can actually come out, go to this application on 8080, and it's up. See? I know, I think it's pretty cool, man. I don't know. All right, so so real fast, I guess, let me kind of show you some of the other cool features about this, right? So let's look at our deployment right now. We have one pod out there, right? This is how easy it is to scale. If I can copy and paste correctly, that'd be all right. All right, so I'm going to go from running one pod, one instance of my application, to running 4. There's 2 up already, 2 available. So I can also do get pods, and it'll kind of show you the status of each one. Remember, a pod is a collection of containers. We just happen to have just one container in our pod. So all 4 of them are up and running. And then on the reverse side, you can scale down in a matter of seconds as well, right? So now I'm back down to 2. So that's the power of this, right? I'm not going and spinning up physical machines to, get more bandwidth, get more power to my application. I can do it, at will in a matter of a minute or 2, right? So it's pretty compelling to me. So I showed you all this stuff on the command line. Now I'll show you the easy button, right? So all this stuff can actually be done through the Google Cloud Platform. You can come here to the Kubernetes engine and create a cluster, come into your cluster, create workloads. And so the workloads is where you can actually monitor your applications. So here you can see each of your nodes, how are they running, what's the performance, what kind of bandwidth are they using. You can also provision from here, so I can scale, and I can say go up to 4 here. And it'll do the same thing as I did over here, right? So now I should see 4 coming up. So it's all available. I think it's easier for me personally to learn from command line to kind of understand what's going on, but you can definitely just hit the ground running using the UI and do it that way. Let's see, last but not least, I have some resources. I'll get these slides out, but I copied a lot of this stuff from some Code Lab stuff that was out there and kind of made it my own. So I would recommend that everybody kind of go out there and see if they're interested and see what's there and kind of learn on your own as well. So with that being said,
where are you going to share those?
I'll get with you and share those somehow.
Someone was asking in Twitch also, where can he find the demo.txt file?
Oh, yeah, cool.
On GitHub or shared in Slack?
I just haven't gotten around to it, but yes, those things. All right.
Instructions, the step-by-step, that's awesome.
Oh, cool. Yeah. I plagiarized a lot from Google. It kind of made it where I could do it in a few minutes versus a couple hours.
How much have you worked with Azure?
The question was, how much have I worked with Azure? I haven't worked with Azure in a while. I won't get too deep into it, but it's been a couple years since I've been in the .NET space. I'm back in it now as of like a month ago, so it's been a couple years since I played with it.
Just kind of curious how you think that compares with this as far as cloud infrastructure and setting environments up and things like that.
I've got to imagine it's pretty comparable. They're both about well, I guess Azure's probably a little bit more mature as a product nowadays. The reason I looked at Google Cloud is because my company's moving to Google Cloud. And so learn what you're going to be doing anyway, right? So, any other questions? Oh, thank you, guys.